100, and we got academics in the background, and we got Adin Ross standing on business in a room full of vultures. You understand?
He doesn't do anything for anybody. Wack, you know he doesn't do shit. He doesn't do features. He does nothing for anybody. He's a hater. What's up, Cuff? He does nothing for anybody. He's selfish. He literally, his career got saved. You can't name 3 songs off Mr. Morale besides NF or whatever the fuck. Hold on, real quick. Drake brought him on tour. Drake gave him his first feature. He put him on. Let me ask you a question. You remember when Drake brought on French Montana, Meek Mill, J. Cole, Waka Flocka Flame, The Weeknd? He brought everyone on tour with him. Do you remember that? Yeah. I remember when he took Kendrick on.
First of all, how you gonna ask someone how could you not like? Nigga, what you mean? How could you not like Kendrick? But you know what though? I'm gonna say this about Wack 100. Wack 100 understands content. Like he's not online for no reason. I love Wack 100 because he created a character for himself, or he was able to take who he is and turn that into an online persona that really works. Now, ironically, he doesn't have a channel. Of course, he got social media and whatnot. He don't really have a channel, but Wack 100 is constantly on the DJ Academic show. He's constantly on No Jumper, right? So he always maintains a certain presence online, and for the most part, no matter what's going on, if it's gangster, if it's some gangster shit involved at all, he gets to speak on it and become an authority on it, right? So to a certain degree, I be having to remind myself that yo, these niggas is doing content, right? But at the end of the day, we'll go ahead and roll with it. I'm about to show y'all a clip from Joey Badass, and this is actually a clip that's 7 years old. And in that clip, he says, Kendrick Lamar has always been marketed to you like the greatest rapper. He's never been the greatest rapper. The people who are dominant in this game, and honestly, as time went on, we started creating this niche space for people who have underperforming music. And I'm not saying that it's not enjoyable. I'm not saying it's not good. But if people are not actually supporting the music, that also speaks to how many people are actually listening to it. Back in 2003, when Joe Budden's first album came out, I was listening to that album, but I understood. Well, I'm sorry. It took time for me to understand. I like this artist. I'm listening to this artist. Everyone's not playing this artist, right? This is something that I like, right? But I bring these things up because at the end of the day, it's the people who have the records that really move, that push the culture forward. It's the people who are always collaborating, giving out features. Like that's the point the old boy made, was that yo, Drake has been giving out features and keeping the ecosystem going, right? And not only that, what Drake also did was that helped him to keep updating his style. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I kind of felt like at one point, like, bro, you giving me way too many bangers, and there's no way you have more. Which it wasn't even so much that I thought he didn't have more. Eventually, I didn't realize that mentally he had outgrown me, and it wasn't until I had some more experiences and I bossed up some more that I started hearing Drake's lyrics way different. I always say I think the 4 a.m. Chicago freestyle with Giveon, right? And the way I hear the lyrics, the way I heard those lyrics after I bossed up and made a little money and did my own thing for a little bit and kind of experienced how you become a target for people, how people treat you differently and look at you differently. I started hearing those lyrics way different. You know what I'm saying? My nigga said, me, I go through underground garages. You go in front with your girls. And son, I think he said something. I think he said, you go in with your girls because I don't know who's out there watching. And what he's speaking to is how you gotta move when you a millionaire, how you gotta move when you the kind of nigga that you could be kidnapped. Someone can actually get a bag for you. Someone could kidnap you and threaten to take your life and get a whole bag for you because you're worth money. There's some money somewhere for you. You understand? Or understand like you are always a target, you are always in danger once you get to a certain level. You understand? So anywho, saw a really interesting clip on Twitter that I wanted to play, right? It's from a white teacher, and don't know how true it is, but I thought it was a really interesting conversation about how easily people can be swayed.
Kendrick is winning this thing. You should have stepped foot in a high school today. I, up until today, taught at a very Drake-centric high school. Rich Baby Daddy is the most frequently requested song to put on my class playlist. If I ask students what they're listening to in their headphones, Drake. The week after the leak was a nightmare. But today I walk in and I can feel that there has been a tectonic shift the second I walked into the building.
I'll be back. All right, boom. My bad, y'all. My speaker went out. I'm bringing it back real quick. All right, so
If
came
anyone
across the
needed
clip
further
earlier.
proof that Kendrick is winning this thing, you should have stepped foot in a high school today. I, up until today, taught at a very Drake-centric high school. Rich Baby Daddy is the most frequently requested song to put on my class playlist. If I ask students what they're listening to in their headphones, Drake. The week after the leak was a nightmare. But today I walk in and I can feel that there has been a tectonic shift. The second I walked into the building, I could hear the buzz, I could kind of overhear the conversations, and I was like, oh my god, this is a Kendrick school now. I polled my classes on what they thought, and they were ready to throw down for Kendrick. I had like one Drake defender in each class, if that. And honestly, I feel bad for those kids because they were getting screamed at. I had a kid walk into class, phone over his head, blasting BBL Drizzy. And then he went up to his friends and got them to freestyle on it. Like, excuse me? This was a Drake high school. I have students who hate reading who are doing the most meticulous, close reading of these lyrics that I have ever seen. They're finding subtle quadruple entendres and like explicit.
There is no such thing as a fucking triple or quadruple entendre. If you come across a triple entendre, that is very rare. There is no First of all, Kendrick does not rap in fucking entendres. Most of Kendrick's raps are sounds and random words. Like it's like a how can I say, a stream of consciousness. I really can't say like Kendrick has any verses that I love bar for bar because of what he's saying. I like his verses because they're the right sounds over the right beat. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really a negative thing. That's a part of having sensibility when it comes to music. So I'll also give him that too, because I always thought Kendrick was interesting. I never necessarily thought that like he was a hit maker or he was someone that you need to have in a record. I mean, I liked him because of me still having kind of a soft spot for, I guess you could say real hip hop or just that underground feel and everything, right? Whereas over time, and especially over the last year and whatnot, you really got to see how easily influenced people are and how lazy people are, and also how people are not able to think for themselves. What that spoke to was, if this is a true story, is how impressionable young people are. If you see headlines and thumbnails and titles on content creators' videos saying Drake got destroyed, Drake got exposed and whatnot, these are young people. Their minds, their brainstem is not developed enough to even be able to discern between that person is being paid payola to speak positively about this record. All they know is some of their favorite content creators and all over social media, this record is being promoted. Not only that, the whole idea was, I think one part of it was creating this activity of finding someone to gang up on. And also, what it also did was, people who were the loud minority, what they did was they expressed themselves in a very loud way, right? In a very confident way. And what they did was they bullied you mentally. She just mentioned that I felt so bad. Why would she have to feel, this is music. Why would you have to feel bad about people defending Drake? What it was is that the first person who took a strong stance, they influenced the rest of the people, because most people are usually on the fence, or they have a casual opinion about most shit. They don't necessarily always feel strongly about every topic. I don't think people at first even felt strongly about this until you had so many people who were so desperate to hate on Drake. Because even before he dropped Euphoria, I remember having a back and forth with my homeboy. And him basically saying, yo, Kendrick about to kill him, this and that. Get the fuck out of here. Like, yo, Kendrick is not a bar for bar nigga. Kendrick has never really been nice like that. Kendrick has always been promoted to you like he's mad nice. I think he's always been interesting, right? And in the beginning, his shit was more hip. Because it was kind of awkward. It was kind of offbeat. It was different, because you got to realize, being someone who can be, how can I say, appealing in a mainstream way. I don't know. Let's say you're a mainstream celebrity, right? You being up on or knowing about someone who raps like Kendrick, it would speak to you having a very broad taste in music, a very versatile taste in music, which would in turn make you cool. So Kendrick kind of was always a person where it's like, it's cool to like him. It's cool to be into him, because it's like, because it's shocking to the person you're talking to, or is a certain shock value to saying that you like Kendrick Lamar's music, especially if you're like white or anything like that. But also, I'm also going to always say that white people, in a way, really hurt the culture because they don't always have the taste level to know who to be promoting. Like Macklemore was still an actual thing. Okay, that actually happened. Like Macklemore, no disrespect, but probably one of the worst rappers I've ever heard. And not so much in terms of actually, nah, he's kind of whack. Actually, he's kind of whack. But anywho, but what she's also again, what she's speaking to is peer pressure, right? And how easily what she also spoke to was how easily people can have their minds changed by a few strong titles, some strong words, and a strong attitude. All right. So this is also less than manipulation and communication. So anywho, I want to play this clip from the Joe Budden podcast. Oh no. Let's do the clip from Old Boy. I want to play this clip from Joey Badass. So this is a clip that resurfaced with Joey Badass and a few other brothers talking about hip hop in general. See if I can find. There we go. Boom.
Joey, yourself, few other MCs are important to the kids because they don't understand they need balance. I see it a little different. Kendrick, J. Cole, Joey, yourself, few other MCs are important to the kids because they don't understand they need balance. You might not be conscious of needing balance,
Agree
but
with
you
that.
need balance.
Agree
So
with
when you
that.
saturated with
But he's also the biggest rapper. Hold up. But he's also the biggest, best rapper because it's publicized that way. That's what's being pushed onto the masses. But you can ask the kids and shit at the lunch tables, like, what's Kendrick's favorite bar on the album? They're just gonna tell you their favorite song. Yeah. They don't really care about that shit, bro. It's everybody else is validating the fact.
No, it's published. I see it a little different. Kendrick, J. Cole, Joey, yourself, few other MCs are important to the kids because they don't understand they need balance. You might not be conscious of needing balance,
Agree
but
with
you
that.
need balance.
Agree
So when
with
you
that.
saturated
But
with
he's also the biggest rapper. Hold up. But he's also the biggest, best rapper because it's publicized that way.
And so what he's saying is that has always been Kendrick's marketing scheme is that, yo, I'm so lyrical and I'm so real and basically the whole culture. Because for the most part, right, when you think about when Kendrick Lamar became like really big, he became really big around the time where black people started getting more into like, it was like the second pro-black wave where you had like the good wood chains where they had like the wooden African piece. You saw niggas wearing that. All right, you started niggas wearing more dashikis. Then around 2018, you had the Black Panther, which was like the height of the like pro-black era, where we're all trying to like kind of for the most part explore that whole concept of being pro-black and support one another, I guess, right, and being righteous, but which always leads to like veganism and vegan adjacent thinking and whatnot, and which will always kind of lead you back to conservative values, because what it's going to lead you back to is thinking what actually works and what can I do to actually have things work in my favor. But anywho, Kendrick Lamar became big around that time. Also, a few other things played into that. You had a lot of artists because the internet was the wild, wild west at one point, and it kind of still is, right? But you had different platforms promoting different kind of artists, and what that kind of did was give promotion and platforms to people that you wouldn't normally hear, or people who weren't really on the radio. And people like that were able to gain a following through basically getting posts on the right blog. So I always refer to nowright.com. Nowright.com is the kind of blog that was going to post a Slaughterhouse song, going to post a Kendrick song. Now, I remember reading his name and seeing his name a lot, and I wouldn't actually click any of those songs or those posts because I simply thought someone named Kendrick Lamar did not sound like any kind of superstar that I want to listen to. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until I heard Kendrick on the Drake album and I learned, oh shit, oh, so that's who Kendrick Lamar is. All right, let me go ahead and check him out. Then I heard Section 80, and then the rest is history, right? Section 80 and Damn are my two favorite projects from Kendrick. The rest of it, to be real with you, like Good Kid, Mad City, I made myself listen to the album and I made myself like it. I didn't hate it really, but it was, again, and it's not that it's whack, but I do remember like feeling when I first heard it, I was very underwhelmed. I didn't really have like a favorite song on the album really, because a lot of songs it was so conceptual, and I think that kind of did like make it work. But a lot of the records like I don't like the pace of it. I don't like the BPMs. Like uh, swimming pools. Again, I mean, I like it, right? But like, I don't. He's not so. I think sounds good, too good over slow shit. I think "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe" was a pretty like pretty cool record. But again, it was fitting for that time though, because you had Hobson, niggas like Lil B. There was a lot of weirdos at that time, right? So that whole tone of how he's rapping, like that was perfect for that time. So his tone it didn't really stick out, or just how he rapped in general. It didn't bother you as much because he kind of was like a breath of fresh air, and it was like it was almost like he had perfected conscious rap in a way, right? In a way where it was listenable and it was enjoyable. That's why Section 80 was so dope, because those beats and those songs are actually very good songs that move at a good pace, good BPM, good lingo. You know what I'm saying? Just all that shit. And it's also a better vibe. Like ADHD, a record like ADHD is still a better vibe than a lot. It's not a thing too. You don't be making no fucking bops, like no actual vibes. And I had to realize, like, yo, we don't let this nigga think that he's such a good rapper that he don't gotta make records that people can just rock out to and enjoy. Like, and then that's why I hate G and X. I heard shit one time. Now I've heard some of the records so many times in the gym. They became a little more catchy to me, but it's like it just everything about it put a bad taste in my mouth. Pause. Mostly because of how it was presented, how it came about, right, and the light in which the album was presented to me, and also to keep it a stack. I don't want to hear West Coast beats. I don't want to hear West Coast sounding music. People do not like West Coast music like that. You understand? We don't want to hear shit that sounds like hyphy music. That has never been big for the rest of the community. That's why hyphy came and went back in '06. Tell me when to go. No, nigga, I will tell you when to go. You understand? But anyway, let's go ahead and get into your boy DJ Head. Pause. So here's exhibit. Let's play this first. Let's do this. Go ahead. Actually, I'm gonna get my overlay real quick. Hold on, y'all. So this is from the interview on the Joe Budden podcast. He was there recently. This nigga is even wearing Dodger Blue. There's a record on the Kendrick album called Dodger Blue. This nigga is up there wearing a Dodgers jacket and hat. My nigga.
Like, yeah, bro, y'all out here playing fair. This is what's going on. And he did. I will say this. I won't say this publicly, but he told me there's two artists that he knows for sure that doesn't buy. He said it's Kendrick Lamar and DaBaby. He told me, and this is a person that fucks with the people. He said those whatever they got, them numbers is real. That's what he told me. Like, yeah, bro, y'all out here playing fair. This is what's going.
If you watch this interview and watch the facial expressions of